Today we will be studying Topic 7.5. Please write down in your math spiral, objective, I have learned to divide whole numbers and decimals by whole numbers. Today I will learn how to divide a whole number by a decimal. Connect to what you know. Name a situation in which you would need to divide a whole number by a decimal. When I want to find out how many items I can buy with a whole number of dollars, when the items are in dollars and cents, I divide a whole number by a decimal. For example, I want to buy packages of gum that cost $1.29 each. How many packages can I buy with $5? First, I estimate $1.25 plus $1.25 plus $1.25 plus $1.25 equal $5. So I know, whoops, I said that I could buy 4. Nope, I can buy only 3 because $1.29 is more, and that makes exactly $5. So this should be 3. Yes, like I said, 3 packages. Pose the problem. A hiking trail is 2 kilometers long. There is a distance marker at the end of every 5/10 kilometers. How many markers are on the trail? How many 5/10 kilometers are in 2 whole kilometers? Think how many halves are in 1 whole. Then 2 wholes. Let's try this problem another way. What operation can you use to find the number of markers? Why? Division, because you're finding out how many groups of 5/10 are in 2 wholes. 2 divided by 5/10 equal, how can you use decimal grids to find the answer? The decimal grids will help me to see how many 5/10 are in 2 wholes. Before beginning, get Teaching Tool 21 and some scissors. You can use a model to help you divide a whole number by a decimal, but you will be cutting out squares again. Use Teaching Tool 23. Answer the following questions. How many wholes do you need to represent 2 kilometers? 2. So cut out 2 of the whole squares with 100 boxes, so 200 boxes. You don't need to cut those apart. Now, you're going to cut one of the holes into groups of 5/10. How many groups of 5/10 are in 1 hole? So what you're going to do is you're going to cut this whole thing out, and then you'll cut this one out too. Then you'll cut these into tenths, 5/10. So you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you'd cut it. And you want to find out how many 5/10 you're going to have. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, cut. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, cut. Now, how many 5/10 are in a hole? This is a whole square, so I count 2 in each. Now, how many altogether in 2 whole squares are 1, 2, 3, 4 5/10. So 2 divided by 5/10 is 4. Let's try another problem. Along the 2-kilometer hiking trail, there's also a small flag at the end of every 500th kilometer. How many flags are along the trail? Using Teaching Tool 23, answer the following questions. So you will use number 2 for this one and get your Teaching Tool 23 and your scissors. This is what you'll be using. How many whole squares do you need to represent 2 kilometers? 2 whole squares will represent the 2 kilometers. So 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers. Now cut out 2 of the whole squares with 100 boxes. You'll have 200 boxes, but do not cut them separately yet, just 2 whole squares. So cut out this square and this square. Now, cut one of the whole boxes into groups of 5 boxes. So you're going to have lots of boxes that are just 5 boxes. So for 2 whole squares, you're going to cut out 5 boxes. Then I'll cut out these 5 boxes together, and then the next 5 together, and then the next 5 together. So I'm going to keep cutting until I have all these 2 boxes cut into 5 boxes. So this is where my cuts are, around the 5 boxes. So I'll give you a few minutes to do this. How many groups of 500ths are there in one whole? Well, let's look and see. When I cut these apart, I ended up with 20 boxes. So my answer is 20 for one whole. There's 25 hundredths. So now I cut the other group up, the other square, the whole square, into the same thing, and I got 40. So 2 divided by 5 hundredths is 40. Well, now let's do something different. We're going to find a power of 10 that will make the divisor a whole number. Remember, the divisor is what you see after the division symbol. So you just count how many numbers are after the decimal divisor. So for example, 306 divided by the divisor of 5/10 equal, one number after the decimal means multiply it by 10 to the first, which means 10. Since 5/10 times 10 to the first power, which is 10, gives me 5. Then I do the same thing with my dividend. 306 times 10 to the first power, which is 10, gives me 3060. Now, my problem is 3060 divided by 5. So I'm working with whole numbers. So all I did was take the dividend and the divisor and multiply them by how many were behind the decimal. So I know it's 10 to the first power that way. There's only one number. If there were 2 numbers, I'd say 10 to the second power. So 10 to the first is equal to 10, 10 to the second equal 100, 10 to the third equal 1,000. So the exponent, the little raised number, that's these right here, exponents, tell how many zeros the number has. So if the divisor is multiplied by 100, then the dividend must be multiplied by 100. So in this case, we multiplied it both by 10. So whatever you multiply the dividend by, you multiply the divisor by. Try another. Another example, 488 was my dividend, divided by, my divisor is 8 hundredths. There are 2 numbers behind the decimal. So I multiply by 10 to the second power, which means 100. So since 8 hundredths times 10 to the second power gives me 8. Well then, since I multiplied my divisor times 10 to the second power, I go and I take my dividend and I multiply it by 10 to the second power because there were 2 behind the decimal. That's how I made that decision. Equal 4,880. Now, your problem is 4,880 divided by 8. So now you're doing it by whole numbers, which you know how to do. Now it's your turn. Please follow the directions here to write in your math spiral. Don't forget to do the self-assessment. Here's the self-assessment.